Hi everyone, Aiden here at the Etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at our Kuat Piston Pro 2-bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2022 Ford Maverick. This is going to be a platform-style, hitch-mounted bike rack capable of carrying up to 2 bikes, each up to 67 pounds, so it is going to be e-bike friendly. This uses a dual wheel mount design, meaning that it holds the bike by both tires and makes no frame contact, making this a great option for our carbon frame and alternative frame bikes because we're not relying on that frame to hold the bike. It does a really good job at holding the bike in pretty solid. Side to side here, we're not getting much movement. Maybe if you hit a speed bump, you might notice a little bit front to back just because there's no extra support on that front tire. But overall, the hoop up here does wedge into that tire pretty well and keep things very still. We've tested it on road and it performed exactly how I would want it to. It does have a tilting feature here using the pedal located by our front tray. You can give that a pull and lower the rack down. Now it does have a pretty aggressive tilt, allowing us easier access into the back of our Maverick here. Or if we want to partially open the tailgate and have our support raised on that top stud so it's only partially open, there's no contact. We aren't able to fully lower it. But that's nothing new for the Maverick, just because most other bike racks do make contact with it there, but in this slightly raised position, it'll be all good. When you're done, you can close it up and raise that back up until that pedal clicks into position. Now, the main thing that really sets the piston apart from other bike racks are the pistons. Each one is going to be located on the tray with those buttons. You just press to open up those arms. Those arms will open themselves up, and then you can lift the bike up and away. Now, with a wider wheelbase bike, you might find that you don't have quite enough room to easily get that down, but what you can do if you need the extra room is just push these out a little bit further, and then when you're done, you can just ratchet them back down. All of the fine teeth on there mean that there's a lot of adjustment here. So if we need to get one small extra click out of our hoop, we can. That means it's going to make better contact on the tire. Now with everything like this, I do want to go ahead and get some measurements, starting off with our ground clearance. There's a great rise in the shank, meaning on our Maverick, we're getting 24.5 inches of ground clearance. Something I don't think you have to worry about really at all when driving around or going up steep driveways and hills. From the bumper, doesn't stick out too far either, only coming in around 27 inches, which for a 2-bike rack is really solid. Your hitch doesn't extend that far underneath your vehicle, which means that we aren't adding that much length and it's not hard to get to. And then whenever we're driving around and we don't have bikes loaded, we can fold it up for easier storage. Now in this position, it's only going to be sticking out 14 inches, meaning that this is a lot more compact, easy to park whenever you're going into a parking lot, and just drive around with overall. Now it's not really blocking our taillights too much here. With bikes loaded, you might have some obstruction, but overall, it's not bad. And our backup camera is going to be obstructed right here while it's folded. You might see a little bit above it, but this sits at a level where I would say just rely on your mirrors and your back window and not your backup camera. But when bikes are loaded, because of the height and where your bikes line up, we found it was really easy to see underneath the bike frames and between the tires. Still a pretty big obstruction, but certainly usable if you're trying to back into a parking space. Now down below, we've got our anti-rattle device. It does need a tool that comes with the bike rack, and that tool is a specially keyed tool. So no one's going to be able to mess with it with a regular Allen key, and it keeps our bike rack secure in the hitch. Speaking of that hitch, it's working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube and uses a locking hitch pin. It's not a threaded hitch pin, which means it's easier to line up, and that lock core on the other side is key-to-like to a lock up top for the included cable. And overall, I do like the piston quite a bit. If you want to take an upgraded path, you can go with the Kuat Piston Pro X. It's largely the same bike rack, but it has a more metallic finish to it. It'll have integrated taillights, so if you got 4-pole wiring, you can just plug right into that and get things like turn signals and brake lights and running lights. And it's going to have a Kashima coating on the arms, which means maybe over time they operate a little bit smoother. I think right out of the box, as long as you take care of these, they're going to do just fine. And for me personally, I do like the more neutral look of the regular Piston Pro. And I think either way you go, it's going to be a great fit on the 2022 Ford Maverick. Thanks for watching.